What are you drinking today? It's fine.
I forgot.
My drink is big enough for the both of us.
I had like 3 of those last night. Is that an Aperol Spritz?
It is, and that's why I made it. And today I'll be the ice clinky. But I didn't have one when I was in Hawaii, and I regretted it. So I figured, well, since we're doing the Hawaii episode, I would drink one now.
Yeah. What did you drink a lot when you were in Hawaii? I'm going to Hawaii in May, and I just imagine a lot of like very fresh, fruity, tropical things.
I drank a ton of coconut water.
Okay.
So not
healthy.
Alcoholic. Yeah. Well, remember, I'm kind of on a health journey.
Yes.
So I did stick to mostly wine. It was pretty boring. Nothing tropical. I wasn't like staying at a resort or anything. Like that's the dangerous things of staying at a hotel or a resort, because they just walk by and they're like, would you like a pina colada? And you're like, yeah.
Right.
I would love 900 calories in a glass, please.
Right.
And then make it 3.
Right.
So I was a little bit more well-behaved and just stuck to wine and coconut water.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But not today. It's Friday. Well, it is in our world.
In our world when we're recording.
But I've been really excited to record this since the minute I got to the airport.
And for perspective, Jen didn't get back that long ago. Like she was just in Hawaii when we're recording this.
I'm still tan.
She's still tan and may still be a little bit jet lagged. Yeah.
It's not been pleasant. I was in Hawaii 2 years ago and I don't remember struggling as much as I am. I'm on the struggle bus this time. Before we get into Hawaii though, I think it's appropriate that I give a little update to our listeners.
Okay. About your life?
About my life.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's the end of January. And if you've been listening along, and if you haven't, go back. But I had a boyfriend in Prague. Do you remember that?
Boyfriend's a loose term.
I feel like saying boyfriend is more appropriate than lover. So I say boyfriend.
Okay.
And he was going to come visit me. And then I told him he couldn't. And then I told him he could.
And then he heard our podcast when we made fun of him. And then he didn't want to.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, then I decided against it again. So I told him he couldn't come. But there's definitely a language barrier that we were having, because I don't think he understood that I was saying again, like, you can't come.
Okay.
And he then messaged me a couple of days later and was like, hey, I can't come anymore because I have to save money to buy a car. And I was like, okay, you weren't invited. I didn't say that. I was like, sounds good. I hope you have a good time buying your car. And then he was like, but you should come back in the spring. And I was like, yeah, I'm not. I mean, we're done.
Right. Yeah. You have so much travel planned. Like there's no way you can fit in another voyage to see some lover.
Yeah. And like so many other lovers to meet.
Right.
The world is my oyster. So just to let everyone know, he did not come here and he's not invited, even though he thinks he is. So yeah.
That's really funny. Really funny.
I'm going to take a sip of my Aperol Spritz real quick. Okay. But Hawaii.
Yes.
So it's a long flight. I will say this about Hawaii just in general. I have lots of thoughts, obviously.
Yeah.
Have you been to Hawaii?
I have, but it's been a long time. I went when I was a senior in high school.
Oh, fun.
Well, like after senior year. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it, but it's a long flight.
It is.
I'm lucky enough that out of Chicago it's direct, but it's 9 hours there. And there are so many, I mean, this is where you could chime in 1,000% because, there are so many amazing islands 4 to 5 hour flights away.
Right.
So, I always feel bad talking about Hawaii this way because I think it's such a privilege to be able to go there. So many people want to go to Hawaii. I've been 3 times now, but I will happily go again. It's just, I would weigh your options as far as how much time are you taking off?
Yes.
Because 2 days are travel days.
Yeah, you can't go to Hawaii for less than a week.
No.
Just with the time difference. If you're looking for a shorter trip, you've got to go down to like the Caribbean. If you're looking for tropical from where we are. Jen and I always talk about Curacao. You can get to Curacao by 2:00 in the afternoon out of Chicago. So, I mean, like Hawaii it's a big time change.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to shout out Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico.
Oh, I've never been. No, I haven't been.
Maybe that's where we go together one day. You guys, all the listeners know you're just teasing me, and you're a trip and a Chicago visit tease.
We're going to go on a trip. You know, I was actually thinking while I was in the shower today, because I have my shower thoughts. Shower thoughts by Megan. So I want to do a trip with the two of us to a Sandals because I think that'd be fun because that's what I sell.
Yeah.
But then I think that we should also do a trip that's, what you would want to do. But I thought we could start off small and do something in the US. And I was like, oh, we should go and do all the like Halloween stuff over in like Boston, like the Salem witch stuff.
I have a friend that lives in Salem.
In Salem?
Mm-hmm. She lives there.
Is it a ghost?
Is it a ghost? Yes. My friend Casper lives there.
I almost spit out my water.
I probably just dated myself too. Like, who's Casper? Watch that movie. It's insanely good.
It was weird. She like dated a ghost.
Yeah. And it was weird because at first he was like a little boy and then he turned into like a bigger little boy, but like a high school boy. And that was weird to me, but whatever.
Why did when we were little, we had all of these childhood movies of women dating non-human things, like falling in love with non-human things, like Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. I mean, the Beast, he was pretty attractive.
Yeah, but it's not a human.
It's like a beast daddy.
Oh, gross. All right. Whole different psychology. We have totally gone off tangent.
Daddy.
A Disney daddy.
Okay. I just learned the term adding daddy to different things, and I'm having so much fun with it. Okay. So anywho, Puerto Rico's great. We should go to Puerto Rico. And you're so right. I would love to do a trip your way and then a trip my way. Yeah. And then report about it because I think that'd be really fun.
So would a trip your way be we go somewhere together and then you ditch me the whole time?
Yeah, for a lover. Yeah. No, I think I would keep you though we'd be moving. Yeah. I mean, I get a lot in.
Okay.
So
I'm down for
it would
that.
just be a little bit different.
Totally
and I'm probably
different.
going to be
That's
like, we're going to climb up that mountain and you'll be like, okay. So Hawaii. I get to the airport. This is so exciting for me. And I know you're not going to know who I'm talking about, but I feel like a lot of our listeners may. But I'm in the airport and I'm trying to get my steps in because it's a long flight. So when I fly over 4 hours, I still try to make sure I get my like 10K steps in. And I also wear compression socks, everybody, just because.
I do too.
Do you? Yeah,
yes.
Because it just makes me feel better when I get to where I'm going.
I do it because I'm a hypochondriac and I don't want to get blood clots.
Well, yeah, I heard that. Actually, I had a wedding once.
Oh, God, don't tell me. Nope. I'm going to just freak out about it.
No. Well, it's nothing bad happened, but I had a wedding once, I'm going to tell you, where one of the bride's uncle couldn't come because he flew so much for his job. Like he was flying all the time that he had blood clots and he can't fly anymore. So he couldn't come to the wedding.
He can't fly at all anymore ever?
Mm-mm.
Oh, boy.
It's too dangerous. So I'm in the airport and I'm walking around and I see somebody catches my eye and I'm like, huh. And this person is like clearly dressed down, like athleisure wear, sunglasses.
Trying to hide. And so my eye gets caught and I keep walking and my mind starts to race because I'm like, I know that person. Like I know who that is, but I can't place it. Yep.
So I do a loop, pass them again, and I'm like, okay. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. And I'm like racking my brain, and all of a sudden I'm like, it's Detox from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea who that is.
I know. So RuPaul's Drag Race, just like everything in my life, I'm a late bloomer. I'm always like 5 years behind everybody else. It's been that way my whole life. And so this show has been on forever. I mean, I
Uh-huh.
think 20 years.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Because I like when I started to watch it, I did like the math because I like to always know, like, oh, I was the same age as that person. Whatever. It's a
Sure.
weird thing I have. So I never watched it. There's actually a guy from Milwaukee who won like season 2 of
Yes, I did
Drag
know that.
Race. Yeah. So we'll do a whole episode on this eventually, but I suffered from major burnout. And so this was about 2.5 years ago now, or 2 years ago. RuPaul's Drag Race saved my life. And I'm not being dramatic. I am being a little dramatic, but it was a form of media that came into my life at a time when I was like really low
Mhm.
and like just made me happy, which was like so nice. So I binged watched every fucking season of RuPaul's Drag Race and All Stars.
Oh my
Okay?
gosh.
Okay.
That's a big time commitment.
I was pretty sad. There was a lot of time spent in my bed. Anyways, so season 6 was my favorite season ever in the whole entire world. And this Detox was on this season.
Okay.
And I think I've watched season 6 actually. I don't typically rewatch shows, but I've watched it at least twice because that's how much I loved this season. So I had to go up to them like I did.
Oh my gosh.
I've seen celebrities out in the wild before, and I typically leave them alone because, like,
Right.
I get it, especially when there's sunglasses on and
Yeah.
but I didn't care because this show literally saved my life. And I didn't get into it with him or them. I don't know what their pronouns are, but I just went up and I was like, I am so sorry to bother you. Huge fan. You mean a lot to me as far as my life goes. And they were so kind.
Oh, that's good. Because you could borderline come off as like a psychopathic stalker.
Well, yeah. And they always say don't meet your heroes because they could come off as an asshole.
Oh, right. Yep.
And then you're left with this memory of like, wow, that person was a huge ass.
Right.
And I'm just expressing my joy. Now, when Megan and I are famous and you see us out in the wild, please come up and say hi. I will always be as kind as I can. So just putting that out there. I will be an approachable celebrity. Okay. But yeah, very kind. They were like, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much. And it just like felt just such a great moment.
Did you get a picture?
No, I
didn't ask for a picture.
No, because I could tell enough by how they were dressed that was not what they would have wanted. So,
yep. Well, that's really exciting for you.
I know. And then I was like, who can I tell? So of course I like texted like people that I like, maybe they'll know. A few people were like, that's cool. And then other people were like, who? So I get to see one of my celebrity icons and then I get on a plane and go to Hawaii.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I did not cry in Hawaii.
Woo-hoo.
But I did get trolls when I got back. So you and I talk about trolls like for this podcast.
Yeah.
But I have We Roam Solo.
Yes. Well, maybe people don't know.
Hold on. Let me take a drink.
Okay.
So We Roam Solo is where I am essentially helping women learn how to travel solo by themselves by either planning trips for them, going on trips with them, or doing like group trips.
Yes.
And I'm using the Instagram as a place to collect my travel stories as I go to places. I make reels and upload them. And
inspire people.
That's
by showing you in these places traveling solo, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And I had 2 people comment. One person was like, stay in America. Or not, that is America.
Why is it America? That person has some issues.
No. It was like, stay home. One of them said, stay home. And then the other one said, next time, just road trip to Florida. Stop ruining Hawaii. Now,
what?
Right. Now.
Does Hawaii not want tourists? I don't understand.
Well, so here's the thing, and I'll share a story as to why I could understand where that comment's coming from. But then I'm also going to give my thoughts on it because I didn't respond. I will not engage with trolls on my social media is what I've decided as I move forward in life because it's just a waste of energy.
Yeah.
But I one day hiked to the Green Sand Beach. So Green Sand Beach is a green beach. Spoiler alert.
And what island were you on?
I was on the Big Island.
Okay.
And I was staying on the Kona side.
Okay.
But I actually got around the whole island. So I had a car, drove around the whole. You need a car, I would say, anywhere in Hawaii. I've been to Maui and I've been to the Big Island twice. And unless you just want to park your butt at a resort, which is not what I do,
Right.
you need a car.
Sure.
So I drive to the start of this hike because you have to hike to the beach, and
Okay.
it's along the coast. It's really beautiful, but it's a hike. It's like, I think it took me 3 hours there and back.
Oh, okay.
And there is an option where someone could drive you to the beach. Now, even when you get to the axis of the beach, you still have to be able-bodied enough, if you want to go down to the beach, to climb down a rickety, dangerous ladder and then like hike down sand trails to get to the beach.
Okay.
Now, if you are not able-bodied, I understand taking a truck. Like, that's the only, I'm going to be very blunt in my judgment. That is the only person who should be taking a truck to get to the beach, is somebody who really can't walk it, and whoever they're with, okay? Because it's ruining the terrain to get to the beach.
Having all of these vehicles drive people up there. Okay.
And you see it. You see the damage. And once like the grooves get too deep with one trail, they have to start another trail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's disruptive and it's unnecessary for most people.
Yes.
So doing that was so awesome. Actually, I had a local tell me not to do it, and I followed my intuition and still did it. Oh. It was awesome.
I wonder why they said not to.
If I was a local, I would never do it either. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? Are you reaching for your...
I'm blowing out a candle because it's giving me a headache. I apologize.
Oh. I'm glad it's the candle and not me.
No. God. Shut up.
Why is she still talking?
I'm sorry. I interrupted your train of thought.
Like I said, I think if I was a local, I wouldn't. I don't get to hike along the coast of the ocean ever.
Right.
So for me, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. Was the beach the coolest beach I've ever been on? No.
Okay.
It is kind of cool though, because it's like a cove.
Yep.
So I that's a tip I'll always give people when they're traveling, especially solo. Take the advice of locals, absolutely. I mean, I just sent out my newsletter, and my first tip is like, ask locals, ask the bartenders, ask the Uber drivers, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to follow your own intuition too, because there are certain things that if you want to do them, even if they are touristy, do it.
Right.
There's a reason it's touristy.
Right.
Like, people want to see it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the troll, yes, seeing stuff like that is heartbreaking. And I'm sure there's so much more. There are people who are tourists who are just not treating the land well, not respectful, ignoring signs that say like, please don't hike in this area.
Right.
And just tramp right through it. But I did Google it because I had to. And tourism accounts for like 30% of Hawaii's income. Mm-hmm. And if people stopped traveling there, it would completely destroy their economy. Yeah. And there are thousands of people who work in hospitality in Hawaii. Sure. So, I get it, but it kind of goes back to our green catering thing. It's like, this is the world we live in, and parts of it suck. But, when you're traveling, be respectful, be careful. It's not your playground to just fuck around.
Yeah, you can't live somewhere and expect nobody to ever come. Like, right.
So I ignored those trolls and just moved on because I was busy doing other things.
You're so much better than me. I got in another fight on Reddit yesterday with somebody.
Did you? About what?
Yeah. Well, because I'm trying to get our podcast loaded into YouTube. And I know how to do it. Yeah. But whenever I get to a certain point and I click a button, it says something like, oops, there's been a mistake. Oops, something happened. There's been an error or something.
Oops, you did it again.
Right. Exactly, Brittany. So I don't know what to do. And they don't really have a good help desk situation. So I thought I'll go on to Reddit because people ask questions on Reddit all the time. And I just posted the question in the form of essentially, hey, has anybody else experienced this? And if so, did you figure out a fix? Because I can't figure it out. And some troll on Reddit immediately responds like, stop using this thread for other people to do the research for you, along those lines. And I was like, I can't help myself. I respond to these people. And I was just like, and I wanted an answer from somebody else, you know? And I was like, I spent like 3 hours trying to figure this out. And I did look online and I can't find anything, you know? And I was pretty nice in that first response.
Yeah.
He responds again, and he sends me a link to some video. He's like, dude, it took me 5 seconds to find this.
Respond back and ask how much fun it is living in his mom's basement.
Yeah, seriously. I responded again and I was like, that is an instructional video on doing exactly what I'm doing. That's not my question. I essentially was like, you can stop sending the instructional videos. That's not what I'm like. I know that, you know? And then he stopped. But it's like, why?
Yeah. People are so rude, even on some of the things. Okay. I sometimes spell things wrong or have grammatical errors. Like, I'm a human. I'm not a robot. And, you know, people love to find that and like publicly call you out. And I think it's so rude. It's like, DM me, like help a sister out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I have seen like a wedding professional post on like, hey, I have a new website. And I always love to go look because I know how much work that takes. And, you know, you'll read through and I've caught things like I've caught like oopsies or this link doesn't work or and I just send them an email and I'm like, hey, just a heads up, you know, because it's like, of course I want to know if you catch something like that, but like, why is it so pleasurable to be an ass publicly on social media?
Right.
You know?
You don't need to put it on Yelp.
No.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, talk about me behind my back like a normal person. That's one of my favorite lines from a movie from Bridesmaids. Talk about me behind my back like a normal person.
Okay, so you did this hike. So tell me what else you did. I saw some pictures of things that I thought were pretty cool, but if there's
like the cow cuddling.
The cow cuddling looked pretty awesome. Funny? So was that just a ranch that you could go and cuddle cows?
Yeah, exactly. And so when I was like researching things to do, that popped up and I think it's just so funny. Like, I grew up in Wisconsin. I lived in Wisconsin for 30 years. I had to fly to Hawaii to cuddle a cow. But I'm
sure we could have found you a cow around here to cuddle.
We probably could have.
Looked more fun there.
So that day was really fun. I first stopped at this other farm. It was like a farm where they grew like a ton of what's it called? Native species to Hawaii, in addition to like canoe plants. So I read a little bit of history about Hawaii on my flight there, and I'm probably wrong about what I'm remembering. But if I'm remembering correctly, people from Tahiti built canoes and like traversed the Pacific Ocean and found Hawaii. That's how it was discovered.
Wow.
And it's like a hike. Like,
that's ambitious.
Moana, is that the name of the movie?
Yeah.
Like, that's legitimate. That's like legitimate. They would use the stars.
Oh my God.
And and they had like a chicken and a god and no, just kidding.
That's not for me.
So these canoe plants were these plants that came from Tahiti that then were, you know, brought in. And then also there's a ton of eucalyptus, but that is also not native to Hawaii. That was brought by colonizers.
From Australia?
White people.
Or New Zealand?
I have no idea. Just white people that wanted to make everyone Christian.
The only reason I guessed that is because don't koalas eat eucalyptus? And aren't koalas in Australia? That was my thought process.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds believable, right?
It does. My Uber driver asked me if I knew. I thought I was so smart because he's like, how many islands are part of Hawaii? And I was like, 7? I don't know. It's 7 or 8. I think it's 7.
Okay.
But then the Hawaiians call another place the 8th island or the 9th island, whatever the additional island would be.
Oh, okay.
And he goes, do you want to take a guess at what it was? And I had read about this, so I thought I was so smart. I was like, yeah, Tahiti. And he was like, good guess, but it's Vegas. And I was like, gross. So, yeah, there's a direct flight to Vegas like every day.
Oh.
They like to get their game on.
Yeah, definitely.
So I decided to go to this farm to do like a little tour. Met some great people. Actually, met a family, and one of the sons had just graduated from Northwestern, so that was cool. That's in Chicago. And we're all just chit-chatting. And there's this woman just standing behind us, like playing with some flowers, like awkwardly, right?
Okay.
And she was the same woman that, like, when I got to the shop to be like, is this where the tour is? You know, she was like, yes. And the tour was supposed to start at 10 and it's 10:15 and we're still like chatting. And finally I turned around. This is like so classic Jen Ganson. And I was like, are you the tour guide? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, do you want me to help get the tour started?
Oh my God, Jen.
And she was like, yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt. And I was like, no problem. And so then I turned around and I was like, hey, everybody, it's time to be quiet. And I introduced the tour guide. And
they thought you worked there.
Well, then the whole tour, I mean, she was the nicest woman I've ever met. But it was either her first time giving a tour or the tour guide called that day and was like, I can't come in. Yeah. You're going to have to do this.
Yeah.
Because essentially I guided the whole tour.
Did you make stuff up the whole time? That would be hilarious.
Like, she would describe something and then just stand there and we'd all be standing there for a while and I'd be like, all right, so what's next? It is really uncomfortable. But I mean, we're cruise directors as wedding planners. So it's like, and plus I had to get to the cow tour. So I'm like, let's go, lady.
Oh, so that wasn't the cow tour. That was something else. That was a different farm. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
But it was funny because when we started the tour, food for us to try. Okay. So she was like, if you pick up the green leaf, it's edible. So we put it in our mouth and eat it. And then she described it. And then she like, pick up the pink flower. It's edible. So we'd eat it. So by the third one, we pick up and put it in our mouth. And one of the guys on the tour goes, it's not edible. Like, what if she said that? Like, that's poisonous, But so then I get in the car, go to the cow cuddling. Cows, I learned, are very gentle. I felt like the whole time they knew I ate them.
They were staring into your soul.
Yeah. They felt very, I think cows are spiritual.
Okay.
And it felt very much like they knew, And I tried to like pretend like I was vegetarian once for 3 months,
Whispering it in their ear.
Yeah.
So were those cows that were going to end up as meat?
No.
Okay.
No. But I still felt like they knew.
They just had a lot of hostility.
Yeah, like generational trauma.
Yep.
Probably. But I cuddled a baby cow. I cuddled a big cow. It was fun.
Well, speaking of food, can I ask you about your culinary experience that I saw online? Because that looked amazing.
Yeah. So one night we had a private chef. So I was by myself for part of the trip. And then I was with essentially family. I mean, they are not by blood, but they are absolutely my family. And one night we had a private chef come in and it was so cool.
You know what would have been funny though? If you would have been alone and hired a private chef to come and just make food for you.
Hey, Chef Ippy, just me tonight, And then I would have sat at the counter and talked to him while he was cooking and pretended like we were in love. But no, it was, so there were 7 of us and it was so cool because we had a house, like a big old house with like a pool and a hot tub and a fire. There was fire element on the patio.
Element? Fire element?
Fire element. Like, whoosh, like 2 urns of fire.
Wow.
Fire. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So we're sitting out on the patio having drinks and they would bring appetizers out for us. And then we moved inside and there's salad course, entrees. I had something called butterfish and it is exactly what it sounds like. I mean, it is fish that tastes like Paula Dean's favorite food. Butter. And the whole time, his name is Chef Ippy. He was explaining everything. Everything was very local. There is a purple potato there that I keep forgetting the name of.
Okay.
So Google it, I guess. And they would make bread with it. The bread in Hawaii, oh my God. Like, I eat all of the bread. Any
It's
kind of bread.
different than the Hawaiian rolls from the grocery store.
Yeah, I mean, those are awesome though too. You have to admit. I had pink bread. I had purple bread. But he made like potato mashy thing with these. Anyways, the food was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had a lava cake. Isn't that so fitting? Lava cake.
Did you eat it by the fire element?
Yeah, I was like, set mine on fire, Ippy. So it was just really nice. I highly recommend it if you're traveling with your family. It was such a fun experience. And it was nice to stay home just to enjoy the property that we rented.
I think that you can do that. Like, I think that is becoming more popular in a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing in a private chef to any sort of home or place that you're staying.
I am planning a bachelorette party right now for a group of 10. And that's one, we'll be doing that one night, is having a chef come in for them. So
Oh, where's the bachelorette party?
It's in Sonoma.
Should we crash it?
Yeah. Yes. No. Actually, we probably could. So that was cool. Highly recommend doing that if that's something that interests you. Unfortunately for me, we were sandwiched in between 2 incredible weeks to be in Hawaii. The week we were there was huge swells coming in, which meant, Megan, that I couldn't do the nighttime manta ray snorkel.
You didn't tell me about this. You were supposed to do a nighttime snorkel with manta rays. Oh, that would have been, terrifying for me, but amazing for you.
Amazing. Well, when I was in Prague, I was sitting at a table eating dinner, and there was this couple next to me, and I could hear that they were American. If you ever run into me in the wild and I am in a foreign country and I hear you speaking English, I will become your friend. So I'll be like, hi, are you American? Me too. Where are you from? Want to be best friends? So I started talking to this couple, and they were going through their travels, and I was going through mine. Where are you going next? I said Hawaii. And they were like, you must do the nighttime manta ray snorkel. It is life-changing, is what they said.
Okay.
And it is highly rated any place you review it. And it got canceled because of the swell. So
bummer.
Kind of heartbreaking. Then also, the volcano was erupting. It stopped erupting the day we got there, started erupting yesterday. So when it's erupting, you can like hike up to it and like, because it's not erupting like, when you think of like the volcanoes we made in 6th grade that like ejaculated up to Earth. What is the word? That ejaculate, right?
Exploded?
Yeah. Like where it was like whoosh.
Yeah, I just don't think people typically use the word ejaculated when they're talking about volcanoes. I think it could be used.
I think we are thinking of a sexual term, but like it is a term for, I'm sure, like a powerful release of lava too.
Okay.
Anyways, it just kind of like bubbles. So you can be nearby. I'm sure it's dangerous. I'm sure, of course, it could like change its mind and then you die, but whatever.
Have you watched that Netflix documentary about the people in New Zealand, I think, who all took the like excursion to the volcano and then it erupted and a bunch of people died?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, don't watch that if you're going to go on a volcano.
I often think when I travel, actually, that's when I think about death the most, and not in a bad way, but more in a like, well, I'm going to die. So if I had to pick between like seeing and doing something super cool and dying, or like, I don't know,
living. That's how our brains differ.
Totally. But anyways, so you could like hike up, you can watch it. The photos are amazing. And that got canceled for me as well because it wasn't doing that. But it's okay. Actually, I have such again, I will always say this. I am incredibly privileged. I get to travel a lot for work. I get to travel a lot by other reasons. I don't know. And it's just a part of life. Like, I don't go to a place and have all my chips on like, oh God, if I don't see this volcano, my trip is ruined.
Right.
I have the sense of like, there's a reason this isn't working out because I'm meant to be doing something else. And like, it's okay. Actually, the first time I was on the Big Island, I saw lava and that was really cool. And so I already saw it. But same like when I was in Turkey, I didn't do the hot air balloon thing that everybody does because I had done hot air balloon in New Mexico. Highly recommend New Mexico, everybody. It's so underrated and it's so incredible.
Maybe it's incredible because nobody goes there.
Bing, bing, bing. I like to travel off season into weird places because of that. So anyways, I didn't do it in Turkey because I'm like, I've done it and I don't want to get up at 3 a.m.
Right.
Like there's other things I want to do while I'm here. So it was a little bit of a bummer, but I'm also like so over it. Like it doesn't even matter because I was just in Hawaii and that's amazing as it is. So
do you swim in the ocean?
Big time. I believe this is going to come as a shock to nobody, but I believe the ocean is magical.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. I just don't like what's in the ocean.
That's fair. But so the matriarch of the family I was just traveling with, she bought us all shark repellent bracelets. You know that surfer who got attacked, the woman surfer that got attacked by the shark and she has one arm and she like still surfs?
Yeah.
So she was working with this tech company and developed this. It releases like the sonar pulse that like keeps sharks away.
Interesting. All fish or just sharks?
I think just sharks, but do all fish scare you? Fish scare you too?
There are a lot of things in the ocean that scare me besides sharks. Do you know how much shit is in the ocean?
I'm just ghosts. Pirate ghosts.
Ocean scares me way more than ghosts. I would take a ghost over jumping off a boat into the ocean any day of the week.
Any day. Never me. I always joke I'm more afraid of a ghost in my apartment than like a man breaking in. Yeah, no, I think that the ocean, I'm glad we're on the same page though. Like I feel like, being in the ocean, I actually walked quite a bit when I was hiking. I would go barefoot too, because I think it's like good to, have your feet touch the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like half of a hippie.
All right.
Yeah.
I can get behind that. I can get that behind that.
So yeah, I do jump in, but actually this time I only went about like thigh deep just because I am a little bit of a daredevil, but I'm not stupid.
Right.
And so when they're talking about these swells coming in and the waves are so high, I'm like, I'm going to be by the ocean again in a couple of months.
Right.
I don't need to risk my getting sucked in.
Yeah.
I'd rather die by lava. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. When I'm in the ocean, I think that's why I like the Caribbean because the water's so clear and then I can see, what's there. As soon as I'm somewhere where it's like too deep and I can't see, that makes me nervous.
You need to tell your son that one day I went to this beach and there were sea turtles everywhere. And they were popping up and we couldn't go in the water right where they were because they have rangers there to protect them.
Good.
Totally. But we watched them like kind of come up and pop their heads up and
that's so cute.
It was very cool.
Yeah.
So saw lots of turtles, crabs. Again, we couldn't get out on the water. We had a boat, like a catamaran one day, but that got canceled too. Because right now, if you go to Hawaii in this time of year, which is January, that's when they're mating. So all the whales come down from Alaska and they're mating. So there's a lot of activity.
Yeah.
And then they go back to Alaska.
That's really cool. I've never seen a whale in the wild.
Oh, I have. I've seen a killer whale and I've seen other ones, other types. Humpback.
Okay. I'm not a whale expert. You could just name anything. Yeah. I'd say, okay.
I've seen two of the main kinds, like the blue one and the killer one, the killer whales. The, what is the one? The Free Willy. Again, dating myself. I almost wanted to sing The Lion King, like him and Yama, him and him, but that's the wrong movie. But I think, doesn't Michael Jackson sing kind of like a him and Yama type song for Free Willy?
That makes sense. All I can imagine for Free Willy is I just picture the movie poster with the kid on the rock with his hand in the air and then Willie is jumping over him, right?
Exactly. Oh, God. There was also a lot of movies in our childhood that were really sad about animals dying. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah.
I remember Homeward Bound.
I just made the kids watch that like a year ago and they looked at me like, why on earth?
Yeah. Why are you traumatizing us?
Right.
And you were like, welcome to reality, bitches. Have you seen that meme or that meme, the video where the woman's calling her friend and she's like, hey, bitch. And then the other woman's like, I have the kids in the car. And then she's like, oh, hey, bitches. And then she's like, no, like the kids are in the car. And then she's like, hey, little bitches. And I feel like that's me, you know?
So funny.
Okay.
So Hawaii, would you say that Hawaii is a good place for people to go for a solo trip?
Yeah,
There's
I
lots
would.
to do. That's what I'm getting the vibe for. Like there'd be
Yes.
lots to do. It's
Very
safe, right? Yeah.
Very safe.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, 100%. I actually think Hawaii is great for families, for couples, for solos.
Yeah.
It kind of checks all the boxes. You can find anything there.
You just need a long period of time to go.
Yeah. Every time I've been there, it's a week and it's like you need at least 8 full days. It's a week is too short.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like 10 days, 2 travel days, 8 days. If you can. I mean, here we were talking about that again at the end of this trip, and somebody was like, well, yeah, I mean, it would be great to be in Hawaii for a month. But like, obviously, you know, like you get it, but
balancing what's realistic. Yeah. We're going in May. Well, actually we leave in April, but it carries into May and we're leaving
to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We're going with Kathy. We're going
Kathy.
with my mom.
Hey, Kathy.
Yeah. They're treating us to a trip to Hawaii.
Oh God. Do you get to bring a friend like back in high school?
I'll ask
Kathy, can I come? I am the personality hire, you know what I mean?
But we're leaving on a Saturday and we're coming back on a Saturday because the kids have school and we've already gotten the warning from the school about having them out too much, but
they'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
What island?
Oahu.
Oh, I would like to go to Oahu. That's where Honolulu is, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I can't wait for that episode because I know nothing about it. So don't tell me now.
Yeah, and I'll be talking a little bit more about like traveling to Hawaii with kids and the trials and tribulations that may come with that.
Yeah, and your parents. Where are they going next?
My mom's coming to Jamaica with me.
I knew that, but like are the 2 of them going somewhere?
You know, I can't think of anything at the moment. If I know my mom, which I do very well, she's like my best friend. She is probably planning something and will tell my dad about it after it's booked, but make it seem like she's asking him.
Oh, brilliant. That is called 40 plus years of marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I highly recommend Hawaii for pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Again, it's just if you have enough time, if you're good with flying that amount of distance, it's great. I mean, it's beautiful and lots to do, lots to see, very friendly people. A lot of mainlanders live there. It's funny talking about Hawaii like it's America because it's like, it is. But it's only been America for what, like in the 50s, right?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay, hold on.
Look it up. So the last time I was in Hawaii was right after high school. And my brother and sister are quite a bit younger than me. So they were little. We were on Maui. So I remember bits and pieces of things from this trip. Not saying I don't remember everything, but it was a long time ago. It was like over 20 years ago. So I don't have a lot of memories, but you want to hear one thing that is clear as day in my mind?
I do, but real quick, 1959, it became a state. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, not that long. Yeah.
Okay, so memory.
Yeah. So we were at the beach.
Yes.
And we were swimming, you know, standing there. My brother and sister were swimming. And all of a sudden, my mom and I are like, what is that? We saw something in the water. And it's like, you know, there's tons of stuff in the ocean. What could it possibly be? And we're like, let's go investigate. So we go over, we look, and we're all excited. Like we're going to see like a cool fish or an eel or something cool. And it's this like dark shape in the water. It was a full-sized human turd, like man-sized, floating in the water. Like this wasn't a kid who pooped in the water and let it go. This was like an adult at this beach who just decided to shit himself.
So gross.
And not diarrhea, like a full log.
Like, I mean, I'd rather a full log than diarrhea.
I guess, you but you probably wouldn't notice the diarrhea in the ocean.
But oh God. Okay, we have to stop talking about this right now.
My mom and I always talk about, we're like, remember the poop?
Oh my God. You know what that story reminded me of? I just nodded. I can't believe I didn't share this earlier when we were talking about my lovers. Do you know that my first time to the Big Island, I met a boy?
Well, this doesn't surprise me at all.
But this was actually kind of interesting. So the first time I went to Hawaii was with my mother.
Okay.
So I was like 19 or 20. I was not 21. I know that. And she won like some incentive. She was part of like one of those marketing pyramid schemes, like a multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
And she won this trip, which was pretty amazing. Like we were on the Big Island. I don't remember where we were because it was so long ago, but it was the most amazing resort and just a very cool property. And on like the second to last night, we had a dinner for us. And there were all these like chefs, but there was one chef. Actually, when I was flying there this time, I'm like, what if I see him again? But there was one chef that was like young, he had, like blonde, curly, like surfer dude, total surfer dude. And I didn't set myself up with him. My mother and her friends did. Like we were all at the table and they were drinking.
Yeah.
And they were like, he's so cute. So they like wave him over.
Oh my gosh.
I was mortified. And they introduced me to him and they're like, look you're both blonde and young, you know? And it ended up being so cool because he picked me up the next day in his Jeep and took me all over the island. And that's how I saw the lava.
Oh, yeah.
And then he took me to like a beach that only like locals know of.
Very cool.
So it was so cool. We were just hanging out.
It was a harmless thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is how people used to meet.
Yes. Horribly embarrassed because he was really cute. You know, it was like when you thought a guy was cute, you were like, don't talk to him, you know? And so then when he's like getting waved over and I'm like, please kill me. Lava, please swallow me into the earth. But then it ended up being a really cool story. So
yeah. Yeah. What a cool experience.
Another tip that I gave in my newsletter, I'm really pimping my newsletter, but I have been invited to do things by locals, not just men, but like when I'm traveling, they're like, oh, come do this or come over and have dinner. And I always say, like, you have to feel safe.
Yes.
And obviously not everybody would feel safe doing that. But I have had some of the coolest experiences by just saying yes to invitations because it's like the secret spots and you know, I've had dinner at people's homes where they're all talking in German and I just am having the time of my life, even though I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. They speak English too. So yeah, so that's my story. Ooh, one more thing before we start to wrap it up.
Yep.
Another thing that I would say you'll see a lot of, and you might think to yourself, I don't need to do that. I've had shaved ice. No, you have not.
Not like the local Hawaiian shaved ice. Don't they put ice cream in it?
Yes.
Okay.
And condensed milk. I mean, it is.
Oh, that's rich.
Horrible for you.
Yeah.
I let her pick, and I asked her for the flavors that she recommended. So it was like local flavors, you know, like lychee or I don't know, whatever. Yeah. It was amazing. So if you get a chance, I found a place like there's this 4-mile scenic route on the Big Island. If you want to know how to find it, just email us. I'll tell you because it is kind of hard to find. But at the end of the scenic route is this really adorable restaurant and shop. And the shaved ice was incredible.
Oh, that's so cool.
So that's like, I'll end on that. It's just you have not had shaved ice till you've had it in Hawaii.
Okay, well, before we end, because you mentioned it so much, if anybody wants to subscribe to your newsletter from We Roam Solo, how would they do that?
I think the easiest way is to go to my website, which is weroamsolo.com. And when you get to there, something pops up immediately, and then you can sign up for my newsletter. But I share tips for travel. I always have a blog up of my latest trip. I often have a link to I always link to our travel episodes, like our latest travel episode there. I talk about what books I'm reading, some personal stuff, so you can get to know me better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. It's real fun. You should subscribe. So that was Hawaii, and I'm so pumped for you to go because then we'll have a different island to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good one, folks. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We do enjoy talking about the travel stuff, telling you guys about it, telling you about the trips that we go on for our travel agencies. It's just something different. Yeah,
it is. Okay, well,
here we go. Here, wait. Aloha.
Oh, aloha.
Thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you have a wedding or travel-related story of your own that you would like us to share in a future episode, send us an email to theplannerspassport@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Planner's Passport, and follow all of our travel and wedding businesses, including We Roam Solo, Dare to Dream Travel, and Dare to Dream Weddings. And please, if you enjoy our show, remember to rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you are listening to this podcast.